The Oscars were last night. You didn't watch them? Me neither, but we have the highlights. We'll get to them. And in the spirit of the Oscars, I wanted to take a moment before we get too far down the road into 2020, just to acknowledge and commemorate all those political campaigns that we have already lost this year.
This is going to be a positive campaign that seeks to bring out the very best from every single one of us.
I don't know, like, members of the press, what the f***?
She was, looking back, perhaps the worst candidate ever to run from any party in the history of this country.
Gay right!
The president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
My pronouns are she, her, and hers.
She, her, and her? Mine too.
You've got to get up and stand up and don't give up the fight.
I believe in reproductive justice. Let's also not forget someone in the trans community, a trans female.
How did you feel you did tonight?
Well, I didn't feel I did very good, but then I got off stage and I was told I did okay. Girlfriend, you were so on.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment.
Sorry to see them go. I'm frankly surprised that Joe Biden hasn't made the cut yet. We will get into all of the Democratic presidential race. First, I want to cover the actual Oscars, which were last night, which no one watched, myself included. I simply watched the highlights. Nobody actually watched the whole telecast. And that actually gets to Hollywood's big problem. The most radical political moment of the night. There are really only 3 or 4 big moments from this Oscars. The most radical political moment of the night came from Julia Reichert, who won the Best Documentary for American Worker. She decided during her speech to quote Karl Marx to the applause of the audience.
Working people have it harder and harder these days. And we believe that things will get better when workers of the world unite.
Workers of the world unite. First of all, that's not true. Right now, we have record low unemployment across all sectors. We have a record high economy, and we have wages rising for the first time in 10 years. So workers are not suffering relatively in this country right now. They're actually doing well for the first time in a long time. Workers of the World Unite is Karl Marx's call to arms from the Communist Manifesto. That is a direct quote of the inventor of communism. And the point, I guess, she's making is that all workers will do better under communism. But we know that that isn't the case. Every communist government on earth has been absolute hell for workers. It's been absolute hell, especially for workers, whether it's in the Soviet Union, whether it's in Cuba, whether it's in China, whether it's anywhere in the world. The workers have not only been oppressed, they've very often been slaughtered en masse. But then the cherry on top, this is my favorite part of this whole moment. American Factory was the first film produced by Barack and Michelle Obama's new production company. The production company is Higher Ground Productions. So obviously, they just give this award because Obama is attached to it, I think, is part of it, and because it has this kind of underlying communist message. But I just want to point out, when conservatives would decry the radicalism and extremism of Barack Obama, the left and the mainstream media would tell us, oh, you're crazy, you're hysterical, you're nuts, Obama's a moderate, it's no big deal. His first movie to win an Oscar, in the acceptance speech, they quote Karl Marx. They quote probably the most famous line from Karl Marx. So don't tell me that the guy is a moderate, his projects are moderate, just ain't the case. So that was the most radical political moment of the night. Hey, Michael Knowles here, and the fact is, a life of cigars and scotch does not come cheap. So please be sure to subscribe to the Daily Wire on YouTube, because I depend heavily on your support to continue this wonderful lib-triggering life. Thanks.